director Gregory Markus Hegel. Is it Hegel?
Yeah, Hegel.
Hegel.
Yeah,
and editor. Sorry, I didn't even ask your name. That's
Rene.
Rene. And the editor. And it is the short movie The Light That No One Sees, but we're showing a extended cut tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
An extended cut that I haven't seen.
You haven't seen that one? Okay.
That's not good. Why not?
Yeah. So, well, the extended cut that we're seeing tonight was supposed to be the one that I would submit to festivals, right? And I started doing that, and I soon realized, and I had some consulting calls with people who knew their way around the festival circuit. And since the extended cut, the initial cut was 40 minutes, right? Just under that short film maximum mark, everybody pretty much advised me to kind of cut the film down if possible, right? In order to amp up the chance of getting selected, right? And that's how the short version, which is the festival cut, which I call it, like that's how that one came about. And then I started switching the file on Film Freeway, and then I started submitting with that one, and that's the one you saw. And but when we got selected here, I was just writing to Spence, asking him like if there's any way to have the extended versions shown, because there's, to me, obviously if you put so much work into it, right, and you had an idea in mind when writing the script and filming everything, and especially also in the edit, you want that version to be seen as well. So I'm pretty happy about the fact that we're going to see that extended version, and I hope that audiences are going to like that one as well, and you as well. So I think it pretty much adds a good bit of depth to the short version that you already saw.
Awesome, and we'll get into that in a quick hot second. But first of all, I want to know a little bit more about you guys, about how you got into the industry and why filmmaking.
Why filmmaking? Yeah. Actually, we studied film together, Greg and I, since 2015 back in Cologne. And we've been friends since then, and director-editor team from day one, basically. Like we just, it was a match, and we did even the first uni projects together even. Ever since then, we've been a team, and that's how we came together.
Yeah, pretty much that's how we as a team formed over time. And why filmmaking? I mean, the longer I do it, the harder I ask myself the question. Because when you're young, we're still young, but I mean young in terms of you just got out of high school, and you have those big dreams and visions of what you're going to be in 5 years' time, because you have no comprehension of what 5 years means. It goes like that. Yep. But when you're 18, you think it's half of an eternity. So for me, filmmaking, it was interesting. I was when I was younger, I always wanted to become a pilot, just like a commercial airline pilot. I was fascinated with aviation, and then when I was like 14, 15, I was starting to get into YouTube, and I was heavily flying in a simulator, and I started noticing people creating channels with like amazing cutscenes of flight simulator with music and stuff, and for some reason that captivated my imagination. So I was like, I'm going to do that, and still focus on that aviation thing, and that's how I learned editing. And then slowly but surely it kind of shifted my interest away from that first aviation thing and more into like the actual side of editing and telling stories and creating emotions through moving images, right? So for me, I think everything, all the films that I started seeing when I was in my teens were like extremely inspiring, and also the fact that filmmaking pretty much is the combination of so many different art forms, like music, photography, like theatrical acting, everything just comes together, and that pretty much was very exciting to me.
How does, this is actually a question I don't think I've ever asked anyone in the editing field, is how do you realize that that's the aspect of filmmaking, that's the discipline you want to hone your craft in?
So how I came to editing is, well, first of all, when I decided to study filmmaking, I didn't even have a clue you could study filmmaking.
Yeah.
Like I had no clue. It was back then in high school, like is it high school? You could say high school basically before uni. It was the last year of high school, and we had some like there was a subject where we had a little film project, you know, that was our task. And I don't know, I wasn't too keen on doing that actually in the first place, but then as it as it progressed, I realized how my interest, like I was getting really motivated to do that and all that stuff. And then I decided I'm gonna edit this. I had no idea how I'm gonna do it, but I just figured stuff out, you know, like free programs, free software, all that. And in the end, I stayed up late at night until 3 a.m. and just to edit this thing. I was really like a maniac, you know. Like, and since I had not really a clue what I wanted to do, I was like, maybe if that's something you do, which was for school back then, you know, if that makes you stay up late at night, just you know, keep on editing, maybe that's something that's suitable for you. And that's how I started editing. And why is it that I love it so much? It's like I back then when I did that project, I was very excited about the fact that I was the one to be basically in charge to decide when to show what and how, you know. And with that, creating the movie basically, you know. And that was a factor that just, I don't know, I still love it until this day.
I've always kind of thought that it's like, the director's got his idea in his head, and the cinematographer's getting all the shots and all that, but really you're in control.
Pretty much.
So let's jump onto The Light That No One Sees, because it's a deeply personal story. It's a great story. What made you want to tell this story now?
For me personally, like the background was that we were in our last year of uni, and it was clear that, you know, that there had to be like a bigger project that we finished school with. And it happened to be a time like a year before our graduation, that my own dad passed away due to cancer after battling the disease for a long period of time. And you know, it wasn't easy, of course. Like it's tough going through that, and also observing different patterns within myself emotionally, and also within my family, and how everybody kind of deals differently with a tragedy like that. And I kind of felt that I was very immersed in that energy, of course, of grief, right? Which is a natural process. And for some people, you know, I started researching and really just digging deep into that theme, right? And I figured that there's different, as I said, different ways that people deal with that kind of emotion. And one of the ways is the denial, right, of what has happened, and the denial of reality. And because that's pretty much seems to be the easier way emotionally than to confront and to accept and to grieve and to go through all of those emotions. So I started to really just research a little bit into that, and that's when I came up with the kind of desire of really utilizing this project for my own grieving process, in terms of trying to create a film that takes viewers on a journey through the reality of someone who seems to be in control, who seems to be able to...
You then have to help craft this story and help put things in the right sort of... Obviously, it's a collaborative thing, but how was it for you as an editor, knowing, because you're so personally related and friends, how was it for you putting that together and having to watch this?
Well, in the first place, an honor, I think. You know, as you said, it's deeply personal. We've been friends for so long, so there was actually no question that we would do that together. And course, I also knew his dad. I was at the funeral, so that was there was no question about that. But so the question again, sorry.
Just crafting the narrative and putting together this story that is is so deeply personal to him, how it felt, and just sort of how you go about doing that. Really, it's making sure you do it justice.
That was pretty much more of teamwork, actually.
Yeah.
Because I did a rough cut, but since then we've always edited together, like every minute, and so yeah, that we were in constant exchange and long nights without sleep, and so that was absolute teamwork and constant exchange. But
we've been just constantly pretty much together ever since he put together that first rough cut. And the thing is that, I mean, he can probably say this as well, is that I do tend to have a very strict vision of what I would like to do, but I'm still open to, of course, like ideas of any kind. But yeah, it was collaborative teamwork, and I also felt in the process that he gave me a lot of respect and a lot of room to be able to play with different parts, because he knew how important it was to me to get this story right. And
I like that. I like that a lot. That's awesome, and to know that the guys behind making it, so close, so personal, so just it kind of adds another layer, if you know what I mean. Now that you know that, it's
There was more than two friends making a film. Like,
absolutely, absolutely.
It was also like, as he knew as well, that the only reason why I was able to do that film is because of the funny backstory. To keep it short, is I submitted the script that I had to uni to be like, this is my final thesis film for my studies, right, or our studies, and they were like, we don't like the script, right? The script's too long, it's too complicated, people won't understand. And it was weird, like as a matter of fact, we didn't like the uni altogether, right? So it wasn't a huge surprise, but it was still like a bummer. Okay, what's going to happen? And so we were blocked of funding from uni, right? And the only reason we were able to do that film is because my dad passed away and I inherited some money, right? And it wasn't a huge sum of money. It was substantial amount of money, right? And I actually used almost all of it to make that film, because I thought to myself, this is also like, as I said, this helps me process the whole thing. And instead of just having a good time, like the next one year or 2 years traveling and having fun experiences, which would have been great, but it wouldn't have honored like him in the way that I wanted it to. So I basically
becomes his legacy.
Right, because the film lives on, right? And I kind of reinvested the money into honoring him, right?
That.
So and he knew that as well. So that's how that very sensitive way of working together came about, and he was very patient with me. So, and everybody was, right? So I really did appreciate that.
So with that in mind, when you were sat in the cinema today, where you're going to watch the extended cut tonight, it's not showed yet, has it? But when you do watch the movie and you see it up there, any filmmaker, creative, director, actor, producer, editor, they can all tell me what's wrong with the piece. They look it up at the screen and say, "Oh, that dialogue was not quite delivered right. The lighting wasn't quite right." Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do see this up on the screen, or when you see it at home, or when you watch it back, what are you most proud of, like from the production? You think to yourself, we absolutely nailed it that day. That looks absolutely amazing, and it was all worth it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You want to start? Okay, then I'm gonna. Well, I'm gonna.
See, that's why we asked the question, because you can all tell me what's wrong with it, but I want to know what's right with it.
Right. I think, to be honest, the project as a whole, I think that the whole film that we managed to, because you gotta admit, like, we were like we had no clue. Basically,
Yeah.
I mean, we had uni, but that a project with that scope,
Yeah.
that was something new to us. Definitely. Also, we didn't have any support from uni, as you just said.
Yeah.
So it was all our own, and that was quite a challenge. There was obviously a lot of money on the table and at stake, and yeah. So that we made it look this good actually, and such a good product. That makes me proud, actually.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like a student piece.
Yeah, no,
Not at all.
that's great to hear, because
That's really great to hear.
we really did try to make something that looks like cinema,
Yeah.
right? And I had huge help, and I'm so thankful for my cinematographer, who is an extremely talented guy, and who's now won the German Youth Film Camera Award, which is like something unheard of, right? So he made everything possible. I gave all of the trust into his hands in terms of the visual conception, right? I had an idea in mind of what I want to do, but he was ultimately the one who put the thing together visually, right? So, but in terms of beyond like being proud of the actual film and the production and how we managed everything to get it off the ground with 60 crew, right, over 10 days of filming, having actors flown in and all of that stuff, right? Being the producer at the same time, crazy stuff. I think in terms of the film itself, one of my favorite scenes where I think everything went well and great in that scene in terms of dialogue and editing and everything is that dialogue between Joseph and his son.
Right.
And that I just spoiled something. Anyway, you can cut that part out. So one of the things I'm really proud of is that dialogue when Joseph gets called in the admission ward, and there's this young man sitting there, and just the energy between them, right? You can feel that something's off with Joseph. You can just feel it, even more so than before, because he's tense all the time, right? But there you kind of feel that he's really not liking that situation at all, because he's getting pushed even closer into a corner, and then everything that pretty much happens after that, where I really love the shot when his boss, Dr. Winter, is pretty much done with him, like fed up with his stuff, and then just takes away his piece of paper, and you can really see in his eyes like something just flips, right? And that's when he goes full scale. So that's something I'm proud of in terms of a scene in the movie.
For audiences seeing your short and seeing the director's cut, as you're calling it, which is great, I love that. For audiences seeing it, what do you hope they most take away from it when they walk out and they're thinking about it later? What do you hope they're thinking about?
That's a damn good question. Yeah. So what I do hope is that they walk out with appreciation and gratitude for their family and their friends, and because it's a very heavy movie. Like nobody who watched it, right? Doesn't matter if it's friends or family or whatever. Nobody who watched the film was like, after the credits roll, all right, yeah, that's a great film. Wow, really well done.
Nobody actually ever said they enjoyed the movie.
No. Like,
because you have to. I think it's when you have to digest. You have to.
And they're just sitting there, and just like quiet.
We were in Berlin. Remember?
Yeah.
In Berlin, screening the movie to
the actors, the premiere, yeah.
And some family and friends, and there was just quiet. Like no, the movie, the credits were over, and everyone was just sitting somewhere crying. And yeah, I mean, it's tough, and like I said, no one, like just yesterday, also the short version, people came to me and said like, that's pretty tough, like.
Yeah, and that kind of proves that we did achieve what we wanted, because we wanted to send our audiences on a journey to be part, like hand in hand with Josef. And if your main protagonist that you are basically following all the time is going through all these emotions and it doesn't touch you, then we did something wrong, right?
There's a disconnect.
So that's exactly what we were after, and it needs to make you think in order for the film to work. It needs you to think about it and to really be like, whew, you know. And then you go home and you say hi to your wife, your husband, your son, your whatever.
It's the biggest cuddle you've ever given your kids.
Right? Just go out to the cinema and call your loved ones.
Absolutely.
And it was really good to get that feedback, not only in Berlin but also yesterday, short version. Because to be honest, as an editor and also as a director, we've been working on this so long for many months, and you somehow use you lose the ability to like really tell, does it have the effect, like the desired effect? Because I'm not like, when I watch the movie now, I'm of course not as emotionally invested as someone who doesn't know.
No, I had a director yesterday said exactly the same thing. How the first time they sat down, like every time they were cutting together a powerful sequence, have a little cry, move on, keep going. And it was just like, after like the fourth or fifth time sitting down and doing it, like it wasn't gone, but it was just going through.
It was just it gets harder to judge from the editor's side, also from the director's side, to say after working months and months on the same scene, for example, and so that was very much appreciated. Really good to get that feedback, that it actually had the desired effect.
Excellent, and it does. It's a great shot. I probably shouldn't say it's great because it is dark, but you know what I mean. It's powerful. It's what it wanted to be. It's what you wanted to portray, get across. So I'm really happy you guys submitted it to us and let us show it. I'm looking forward to seeing the director's cut, because I haven't seen it. So, I'm interested to see what you cut out.
For sure. I guess we're gonna walk down and watch it now in a minute, right?
Absolutely. But how? We'll save that for another time. We'll start wrapping it up now. But first of all, what's next? What you working on anything? Actively working on anything?
Yeah, I mean, for me, what I kind of decided after uni, and also some different circumstances, is I took a step back from the narrative side of filmmaking, and I kind of fell in love with documentary form.
Nice.
Right? And also, as I said, like there were different opportunities popping up for me, and I kind of just took them and went after it. And because there's a couple of reasons why. Because first of all, I think you just because you go the documentary route, right, it doesn't mean that you're moving away from storytelling.
No.
Just it's pretty much the same level of ability that is needed to tell a great story. It's just it's just like that. Pretty much in the narrative, you have the puzzle, right? You need to put the pieces together, but then again, you create the shapes of the puzzles, right? Documentary, you get the puzzle, you don't, decide on the shapes of them. You have to put them together anyway, right? So it really still hones that ability and creativeness of telling captivating stories. And I'm sure that I will want to come back to the narrative side of things once I truly have something that I feel like I need to tell, right? Because there's different opinions on that take, but I think for me, I can only pursue something in that narrative world when there's a story or something that really comes from my heart.
Absolutely.
And really is authentic to myself, and is not just like, oh, that would be the cool movie, right? Which is great. I probably could do that, but I really love documentary filmmaking right now. So I've been to all crazy places, filming in nature and stuff, and that was great. Completely different things. So that's what I'm doing currently, and who knows? I mean, I have some ideas in mind and doing some notes here and there, and writing a couple of treatments, but let's see where things go.
For me, kept going as a freelance editor and somehow drifted into the commercial sector, and which again is just like he said, it's not like I'm never going to do narrative again, fictional movies again or something. But yeah, I really enjoy that at the moment, and if there's an opportunity, also for us together as a team, like we, although we haven't done anything together since then, we are the first person for each other to collect feedback. You know? Like I watch his stuff, he watches my stuff, and all that. And yeah, let's see. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the pipeline, which is.
Can I suggest a comedy?
Comedy would be good. Yeah. It would be good counterbalance, right, to what we did here. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Why not?
It's crazy difficult though to do a well-made comedy. I think it's probably one of the most difficult genres.
You've got to nail it,
right?
Because a crap comedy is a crap comedy.
Right. Yeah, let's see. We have a long way to go, I guess.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for submitting the movie. Thank you for letting us show it. And thanks for being here, guys. And
we appreciate it.
We're going to go down and watch this director's cut now.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
I'm interested to see what you cut out.
Yeah, I'm interested on your opinion then. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Es geht hier um das Leben unserer Tochter. Wieso bist du so?
Du hast doch Clara längst abgeschrieben. Du kämpfst doch überhaupt nicht.
Hör auf, es reicht!
Hast du eine Ahnung, was passiert, wenn ich jetzt kündige?
Ich brauche einen Vorschuss.
Sie wissen, dass das nicht geht, Herr Bauer.
Ich vertrage die Methadonbehandlung nicht.
Was haben Sie gerade gesagt? Ich soll heute die Medikamentenausgabe betreuen.
Ich frage lieber nochmal selber bei verrückter Winter nach.
Dieser Mann da drin ist ja vollkommen wahnsinnig.
Hör auf! Ich kann sie doch nicht verlieren.
Ich brauch den Schlüssel!
Gib mir den Verflucht! Scheiß Schlüssel! Warte!
Jos, komm doch raus.